On this week's show, Relay for Life Kickoff, Get Your Game On, and LC Sports, INLC begins now. Hi, I'm your host, Nikki Main. Here are your stories for the week of February 28, 2010. One of the people who made LC the greatest place in the world was Miss Betty Spencer. Betty had the greatest outlook on life. She loved her family, and Elsie was fortunate enough to be adopted by her. She worked her crossword puzzles and followed our athletic teams like her own kids were playing on them. And in Betty's eyes, they were. She greeted every single one of us with a smile, and sometimes that classic frown when you forgot your ID for the 357th time that week. She called it like she saw it, and she was as faithful to Lynchburg College as anyone we have ever experienced. We have a guardian angel in heaven now who will watch over us just like she did in the dining hall, on Schellenberger, and in Turner Gym. Her eyes and ears were always attuned to us. We think they always will be. INLC wants to know what you feel this week. What was your favorite memory of Betty Spencer?
I didn't really have a whole lot of contacts with Betty other than the occasional trip to the dining hall or seeing her during webcasts at sporting events. But it was easy to tell that she had a lot of passion for what she did, whether it was greeting people moving through the dining hall or cheering on the Hornets at the different sporting activities that she attended. One thing about her was that she always knew what was going on, regardless of where she was. I can vividly remember her calling out lacrosse plays and calling out defenses well before they would happen, and then it would happen exactly as she called it out on the field. She'll be sorely missed in our community, and she was well loved by all.
Betty Spencer will be sorely missed. I remember always being bright and cheery when I'd come eat breakfast in the mornings, and there was a couple times that I forgot my ID, and she would let me put my social in, and she's always been a great lady, and my fellow friends, athletes, would say she always came to the games and whatnot. So
I thought she was a really great person. I know she went to a lot of the sporting events, and she's basically LC's biggest fan. So I know the sporting guys will miss that, and I think she watched this program, so we'll miss that.
I didn't really know too much about Betty, other than she was the lady taking my ID at the cafeteria, but she knew my name as she did many others, which I didn't expect because, I didn't interact with her that much, but you could tell that she cared so much about everybody here and everybody at Lynchburg and just the school itself, and just reading about her and just seeing her on different occasions at sporting events, you knew that she cared and you knew that she loved it, and this was a huge part of her life, and so I think she will be missed by all, and she was loved by all. Even those who didn't know her, even those that she didn't know, they was still just a known that Betty Spencer was an amazing woman for Lynchburg, and she will certainly be missed.
Lynchburg College was graced with 2 recitals this past week. We go to Becca Loftus, who got us a sneak peek. Now here's this week's segment of Get Your Game On with a special look at Bayonetta, a classic game review. Stay tuned weekly for great game reviews and possibly LC celebrity hosts.
Welcome to the open casket funeral of Get Your Game On. The show that you know and love is dead.
We killed it.
It's under new management, and you're looking at it.
I'm Kenley Hoover.
And I'm Brandon Gannicott.
And this is the first episode of Level Up. This week we'll be talking about the hyper-sexualized beat-em-up Bayonetta.
And I've got a way for turning $10 into gaming gold. Oh, and by the way, nice jacket.
Bayonetta is the latest release from Platinum Studios and Sega. Keep in mind that this game is most certainly not one of the many God of War clones coming out this year. No, this game is a Devil May Cry clone, and we all know that that game came out much earlier than God of War. This should be of no surprise, of course, since Bayonetta is actually the latest offspring from a studio that is directed by the original creator of Devil May Cry. And just like Devil May Cry, Bayonetta is slick, stylish, and contains a storyline that could only have been dreamt up by the Japanese. You play as Bayonetta, a witch with amnesia who has been asleep in a coffin at the bottom of a lake for 900 years. Using various demonic weaponry, you travel across lush landscapes killing angels. Yes, angels. The messengers of heaven will come at you in a refreshing variety of shapes and colors, but will ultimately fall to your onslaught of punches, kicks, and bullets. That's about all you need to know. Seriously. The actual storyline of the game is a very convoluted tale featuring Bayonetta, an obnoxious journalist, a young girl who is either Bayonetta's daughter or her younger self. There's a useless fat comedic relief, and a black bartender who runs the item shop. Apparently, Bayonetta is a sort of gun for hire for hell, and as the game goes on, a sort of web of conspiracy is weaved involving the characters in the Master of Heaven. Confused? Good. That means that you are both sane and not Japanese. The game is very easy to look at thanks to detailed character models and scenery. The cutscenes, however, are a point of contention. Most cutscenes carry out in a very stylized CGI movie fashion. However, some will carry out in what can only be described as a pretentious, artsy, bullshit film cell style. It's kind of depressing to sit through. I mean, these cutscenes really just feel like they're a wasted opportunity for the developers. They could have easily just have shown off the game's graphics instead. The audio is fine. Sound effects and orchestrational music cue up and go with pretty much the flow of the game. However, the soundtrack of the game features a few bubblegum J-pop style songs that just get repeated ad nauseum. I mean, this really isn't a huge gripe since you'll be too busy button mashing to really notice the music. However, it's still very annoying to hear a pop rendition of Fly Me to the Moon for the 27th billionth time. The gameplay is solid. Press Y to punch, B to kick, and X to fire your pistols. String Y and B button presses together and you'll pull off one of the game's numerous Wicked Weave combos. There are in fact so many of these combos that you would have to be inhuman to memorize them all. Bayonetta's main weapons are her quad pistols, 2 in her hands and 2 fastened onto her legs. Ridiculous? Definitely. Improbable? Most likely. Awesome? You bet your sweet ass it is. While the game boasts an impressive repertoire of unlockable weapons, you'll most likely just stick with the pistols, just because of their beginning level comfort and speed. One of the game's great features is the use of bullet time, or witch time, as it's called in Bayonetta. Dodge an enemy's attack at the last minute, and time will slow down for you to lay down a punishing combo string on your enemies. One downside of the witch time aspect is that the window of opportunity can be rather small and vague, which leaves you looking like a chump when you mistime your dodge and instead get smacked across the face. Another great feature is the use of special attacks. Build up your magic bar and press YB to unleash one of the game's several torture attacks on your foe. These attacks are gratuitous, gory, and downright funny at times. Now, the boss fights are epic. Their size usually takes up the full screen, and they'll sport a health bar that is pretty much 3 times your own. Thankfully, the men and women at Platinum Studios were kind enough to include mid-boss checkpoints, which saves you a lot of time and television sets from your angry controller throws. Now, the gameplay is not all well and good, though. A few dark points tend to spoil the fun at many occasions. Fixed camera controls will leave you blindsided by enemy attacks from off-screen. Rapid button mashing will quickly reduce your thumbs to whittled down stumps. The challenge rooms are aggravatingly difficult. I mean, timed enemy challenges, fine. Timed enemy challenges with fixed button pressing limits, annoying, but still okay. Timed enemy kill challenges with fixed button pressing and kills that require a combo finish, well, that, sir, is pull your hair out and scream profanity retarded. Like Devil May Cry before it, Bayonetta features a grading system that gives you a score at the end of each level. It's not really a gameplay flaw, but more like the game is making fun of you. I mean, seriously, after clearing a level that you've died 15 times on, only to be told that your playing ability is equivalent to a rock is pretty damn frustrating. Finally, this game features a driving sequence. This is more of a personal gripe for me, but why must all action games feature driving sequences with gaps, jumps, and enemy vehicles? It's just all filler, no killer. All in all, the game is sound. Aside from some camera difficulty, the game is incredibly fun to play and features some campy humor throughout. I found the game's difficulty to be incredibly frustrating simply on normal, but for those of you who will like a challenge and like action beat-em-ups, then Bayonetta is right up your alley.
Console gamers are used to paying $60 or so for a new game and at least $30 for used. PC gamers are privileged in this way. They have Steam. And if there's one thing Steam loves to do in addition to making owning PC games easy and painless, is offering its extensive catalog of titles for cheap. This week's pick? A little gem called AudioSurf. It'll put you back 10 bones right now, but that's a pittance to experience this trip. It defies genre, but I suppose you could call it a rhythm puzzler. The gameplay isn't really the star here. Shifting your spaceship from left to right is about as taxing as playing Bayonetta on very easy automatic mode, and I'm not convinced that failure is even possible. But it's not important. The experience is profoundly original and best shared with friends. A clever script could probably turn this game into a premier visualization app for your music library. There's an element of social networking built in, but I would urge you to use this as a launchpad for some real-life interaction. It makes me yearn for a beautiful yet impossible future in which Guitar Hero or a game similar to it could operate on the same principle, open up the track list to its users. At least part of that utopia can be had today, and I'd say that's worth your hard-earned cash.
That wraps up our 10 minutes of fame,
See you next week for the next thrilling installment.
where I will not be wearing a green shirt to a green screen shooting. Yeah. Awkward.
Well, there you have it. Get Your Game On is dead, and in its place, we have Level Up. Do you have a serious case of cabin fever? If the answer is yes, a night in the Big Apple benefit dinner for the Lynchburg Choral Union is the perfect cure. The dinner, which is sponsored by the Friends of the Lynchburg College Choral Union, is scheduled for March 6th in Memorial Ballroom of Hall Campus Center. A cash bar will be available from 6:30 until 7 p.m., followed immediately by the dinner. The evening's festivities will include an Italian buffet worthy of Mamma Mia's, prepared by LC chef Michael Neal and his staff. The menu will include an Italian salad with romaine, fresh basil, olives, cherry tomatoes, and fresh mozzarella, angel hair pasta and tricolor bow tie pasta, pesto, white clam, and marinara sauces, meatball and grilled chicken strips, roasted mixed vegetables, garlic breadsticks, and tiramisu and cannolis. Performances of favorite Broadway and movie hit tunes by Choral Union members, a silent auction of valuable goods and services, a raffle for a surprise big-ticket item, and dancing will round out the evening. Several original items have been donated by Choral Union members and area merchants for the silent auction, including stained glass, art, and jewelry. Dinner music will be provided by Square Peg, a jazz ensemble led by LC Education professor Dr. Glenn Buck. The cost is $35 per person, and tickets are available at the Lynchburg College Bookstore, Gibbons Books, and Ayler's Farm and Garden. The Lynchburg College Choral Union is a large ensemble of LC faculty, staff, students, and alumni, as well as community singers that is under the direction of Dr. John Kim, professor of music and director of choral music, graduate studies in music. It presents several performances a year of great choral masterworks featuring soloists of a caliber rarely seen outside of major metropolitan areas. The deadline to purchase tickets is March 1st. For more information about A Night in the Big Apple, call 434-544-8664. Very frustrating. Ben Blanks, a senior from Lynchburg, presented a paper at the second annual Coger College Undergraduate Humanities Research Conference, February 19th through 20th, in Hartsville, South Carolina. Blanks presented his research, Comparative Redefinition, the Psychoanalytics Assimilation of the Feminine Attribute Guile into the Masculine in the Book of the Wiles of Women. His paper was prepared for a medieval literature course taught by Dr. Elza Tyner, professor of English, last fall. Nearly 700 students contributed 43,361 hours of community service in 2008 to 2009 to earn Lynchburg College a place on the President's Higher Education Community Service Honor Roll for 2009. LC, which was also on the Honor Roll in 2006 and 2008, was one of only 16 colleges and universities in Virginia to make the list. In addition, Emory and Henry College received one of the top 6 presidential awards, while the College of William and Mary made the Presidential Honor Roll with distinction. For more information, contact Chris Gibbons, Director of SERVE, LC's volunteer program at 434-544-8640. And now for LC weather. How's the week shaping up, Will?
Before we take a look at this week's forecast, which does include more snow possible, you might have noticed that this has been one of the snowiest winters on record, so we crunched the numbers, and here's the total snowfall accumulation since December the 1st. As you can tell, it's been a snowy winter. Blacksburg on the campus of Virginia Tech has measured just over 50 inches this winter. Roanoke has accumulated just under 50 inches. Here in Lynchburg, we've gotten our fair share as well. With about 34 inches. Danville just over a foot of snow. More sleet and other wintry type precipitation mixed in over the south side, and each of the 3 storms causing their totals to be significantly lower. And then when you look at the normal snowfall rate, you can see that most areas well above normal. Most of us average between about 17 and 22 inches each winter. And as you can tell, we've well past that. However, this winter has not been the snowiest winter on record, but it will go down in the top 10. The snowiest winter was back in the 80s, 86 and 87, when about 60 inches fell into Lynchburg. As we take a look at the forecast for Monday, it's calm for now. We'll approach 50 for our daytime high. We will have a few higher clouds move in during the course of the afternoon. Overnight, clear skies low around 27. On Tuesday, we'll see those high clouds in the morning with the clouds thickening in the afternoon. Maybe some light snow coming in Tuesday afternoon. I think the brunt of it will be during the overnight on Tuesday. Accumulation-wise, it's up in the air. We're looking at anywhere to a dusting to about 6 inches. And it's one of those storms to where the track means everything, so we'll have to watch it very carefully. 39 on Tuesday for the daytime high, 28 for the overnight low. Maybe a leftover snowflake on Wednesday morning before we clear out for sunshine later in the day. Still chilly though, 38 for the high and 20 for lows. We do get a little bit of a southern flow beginning on Thursday. Highs in the warmer range, low 40s. The sun, however, is out all day long. Abundant sunshine. Lows on Thursday night dropping down into the mid-20s. Warmth continues to try and nudge northwards. It gets as far as the Carolina line before stopping. We do know better than low 40s, and the overnight lows will be in the mid-20s. However, will be sunny. On Saturday, the weekend starts out with a little bit of warmth into the area, approaching the 50-degree mark for highs under sunny skies. Sunday looks continued warm, possibly mid-50s under sunny skies. Here's another look at the 7-day. Again, we're watching Tuesday night into Wednesday pretty closely. Totals could be anywhere from a dusting to 6 inches. We'll make a conservative estimate for now and go with 1 to 3. However, you can follow the forecast as we follow the storm. The Eye on LC Weather Center is now on Facebook. You can search Eye on LC Weather, add us as a fan, and stay up to date with the latest forecast all week long as we will post it on Facebook. Have a good week, everyone. Nikki?
For this week's update on LC Sports. It was a busy week for LC Athletics. Lady Hornets basketball earned a final spot in ODAC tournament with a 67-52 win over Emory and Henry College, but ended their season with a loss to Roanoke College 88-64. Men's basketball made a comeback to defeat Roanoke College 83-78 in ODAC tournament, but was squashed by Guilford College 69-61 in ODAC tournament quarterfinal. Equestrian team finishes 5th at Sweetbriar College out of 12 teams. Baseball home opener was postponed again due to previous week's snowstorm accumulations. This did not get their spirits down because they knocked off Guilford College 7-5. LC softball sweeps visiting Shenandoah University. Men's tennis falls to Maryvale College 6-3. Men's indoor track claims 13th straight title while Lady Hornets place second. Ohio Wesleyan University slipped by with a win over men's Lax 13-10. And finally, women's lacrosse opened with a 13-9 win over Adrian College. Fans, you can now follow all your favorite Lynchburg College Hornets athletic teams on Facebook, Twitter, and RSS. Really simple syndication. To access each new offering at any time, just navigate your browser to www.lynchburg.edu/athletics and click on the Facebook, Twitter, or RSS icons on the right side, just above the Schellenberger Field camera and the Hornet of the Week. And that's This Week in Sports. Want your room, townhouse, apartment, or college house to be on the show? Send an email to inlc@lynchburg.edu with a picture and a reason why we should put your room on the show. If you're lucky, you could be the next feature on LC Cribs. That's all the stories we have for you this week. I'm Nikki Main, and stay classy, Lynchburg College.